I love our developers' stories about the different journeys they've taken in their careers, and today's is no exception.
Welcome to Breakpoint, the ServiceNow Developer Podcast. Here's your host, Chuck Tomasi.
Hello, ServiceNow admins, builders, developers, and of course, all of you curious individuals that I say with the utmost love and respect. Welcome to Breakpoint, the ServiceNow Developer Podcast, where, of course, we bring you all the latest tools and some tips and a bunch of tradecraft to accelerate your career. In this episode, I've got the pleasure of talking to Ishaan Shoor. He is a senior technical consultant for Thirdera and one of our ServiceNow Developer MVPs. How are you today, Ishaan?
I'm doing good, Chuck. How about you?
Off to a good start. Thanks for asking. Now, before we begin, I like to always get to know our guests a little bit. You and I met in Sydney, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to talk. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. So, first of all, thanks for having me, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here. I've always been a listener of this podcast, and it feels great to be here today.
Well, thank you.
So myself, I'm Ishaan Shoor, senior technical consultant working with Thirdera. So I've been with IT for around 7 years now, and with ServiceNow, it's around 4 years, and it's been quite a journey. My favorite part of ServiceNow, I would say, is Integration Hub and Flow Designer. And I'm also a developer MVP and also organize meetups for ServiceNow Melbourne meetups. And yeah, just loving what's going on.
Excellent, excellent. And when you're not at work, what do you like doing?
Okay, so this is a very good good question that I've been asked this many times by a lot of people. So people think that I'm always up doing service now, midnight, mornings, afternoons, anytime. But so like outside work, I do catch up with friends, go out for coffee, drinks. I love traveling. I'm almost every weekend I'm out on a road trip. Just take my car anywhere nearby, go out for a small hike, or just have some good food after a long road trip. So that's how my weekends are, and that's what I do outside work.
You know what I forget to ask my guests all the time is, where are you located?
Yep. So I'm located in Melbourne, Australia.
All right. And it's the middle of winter.
Yes, exactly. It's very cold today. I think 2 or 3 degrees today morning.
Oh, sure. Keep the hoodie on. We'll have to get you a ServiceNow jacket or something.
I'm waiting for that.
Okay. Well, that's a good lead into the next question. What superpower would you like to have?
Maybe I can sleep and everything can be completed by its own. that, that is one superpower I'd like to have.
It wouldn't make for a very interesting comic book, I'll tell you.
So all my user stories are, marked to complete and done somehow.
You mentioned you were doing, was it IT for 7 years and ServiceNow for 4?
Yeah.
What were you doing before you worked with ServiceNow?
So before I worked with ServiceNow, I've also been, so it's about 1.5 years of testing. So it was manual testing, automation testing using Selenium and other tools. And the other 1.5 year was I worked with another ITSM tool, and it was basically an integration of one ITSM tool, and it was not ServiceNow, and another monitoring tool that we have. So events were generated, and incidents were created in the ITSM tool for the team to look at. So, but yeah, that tool is now out of the market, and so I worked with that tool, and it was very slow. So when I started off with ServiceNow, that's where I was like, oh, this is very quick. Everything is just getting, done very quickly, and it's very smooth as well. So yeah, that's what I've done.
How did you get your ServiceNow start?
ServiceNow. Okay, so I was in Australia, and like I came here to complete my master's, and I think every international students, if there are many and doing service now overseas. So I was also struggling for a job, and I was looking out for a proper job in my field, something that interest matches my interest and I can take on as a career. So that's when I got in touch with a company, Service Line Solutions, which is now Third Era. So I got into it. It was a small, growing company and a ServiceNow partner, and at that time, and that they had me as okay, let's try you out, how you go. So, and even I was not sure what I'm going to do here, but I did know what ServiceNow is. I've worked with an ITSM platform before. I know how things work there. So came into ServiceNow through that, and the first past couple of weeks, I was assigned to do testing of some catalog items. So that's how the journey started, and I've got a bit of story behind this testing as well. So I think it was first or second day, and I was testing a catalog item, and you know how we auto-populate variables on the form.
Mm-hmm.
So something was coming up as a sys in a string field, and so that developer mindset, I raised a bug there, like there's a garbage value coming up in there, you know. So because I didn't know what a sys is, that was our time as well.
Right. It looks like something's broken when you
Yeah,
see a sys ID in a reference field. Like, this can't be right. Something's broken.
yeah. And I reached out to the developer as well, and something is going wrong there. And he's like, "Oh, that's just the sys ID is coming. I'll fix that." Okay. Like, okay, like what is a sys ID? And then I research about it. Okay, that's a unique ID of every entity in service now. Oh, that's great. So that's how it started.
And how has ServiceNow changed your career?
Changed my career. That's a really good point. So until now, like the 3 years that I've spent doing stuff, and post that after that my masters as well, and until the time I came into service now, everyone, I think, not me, everyone thinks that we'll probably get a job, we'll be having some pay, we'll make a living, maybe have some savings and all. So it wasn't it was same for me until then. But when I came into service now and started working with the platform, I don't know what happened, but simply just became very passionate about the platform, started loving working with it. So, and went deeper and deeper and deeper. So, and yeah, just enjoy working with it today. And that's how it's changed my life. So it's not that just work thing for me in terms of service now. It's that if I'm doing something, I enjoy it. And every day is a new challenge every day. So some people might think, oh, Ishaan is, he's a a legend or something, but the work that I do, I have to struggle with that as well. I have to research, okay, how we do this, how we do that. So yeah, that's how it goes every day. It's a new thing.
There's always something to learn every day.
Yep. Yeah, and that's how it goes. So yeah, it's going, and it's it's the platform is very vast, it's not stopping. So that's a good thing as well. You never get bored. Every day something or the other comes up, new module comes up, a new item comes up. So yeah, enjoying the journey, how it's going.
Sean, who has influenced you in your career?
Okay, so when I started again, I was also having a lot of questions in my mind, how this goes and how I'll open a particular module, how I'll write a workflow, how I'll write a ADF test case. It there were a number of questions to me as well. And so at the first go, it was the internal colleagues that I had. They were really helpful to me. And post that, the environment that I saw inside the company was great. And even when I looked at outside, the community was also having a lot of information, a lot of uh, stuff going on there, and it was just amazing. So everyone is there putting out content, helping each other. So the ecosystem that I've seen here is really welcoming, and I don't see anyone saying, okay, hey, you're just doing not you're not doing the right thing, you know. So everyone is really welcoming. Okay, welcome. Even if you are new, even if you are 10 years of experience. So that's how I've been open as well. Like I started doing stuff myself, but I started creating YouTube videos. So it people really appreciated it, and I really liked it. So, and yeah, slowly YouTube videos, meetups, and I went into public speaking, and or I would also do internal sessions in the company at times, and just love it now. So
Now, I saw that you did a presentation at this past CreatorCon, automating, provisioning, and entitling users in 3 minutes. Tell me what that was like to do your presentation.
it was great. So I'll be very frank here on podcast. So I was really nervous before the presentation,
Mm-hmm.
and even after the presentation on how it went. But while I was delivering the session, I felt that it just went like amazing. I totally enjoyed it, and I cannot think of not going back there again. So I'm just waiting for the next one to happen.
He's ready. He's ready for the call for content. It's
Yep.
like-
And yeah, it was an amazing experience. You feel that you might not be doing it right, or maybe doing something wrong or the other. But when I went in there, it just went with the flow. That okay, I know what I'm going to present, and just need to speak to the audience. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I just cannot wait to relive that again.
Tell us about the preparation you did for that.
Preparation. Yeah. So okay. So I created a presentation. The first of all, a basic, like we have got around 10 minutes of presentations, and the
Mhm.
rest for the demo. So yeah, it was I think 10 minutes of presentation. I think I had around uh, 13, 14 slides in there, and some of them were just, I think 10 slides with the actual content were there. And this, so it was a easy part, putting it in the slides, right? And then the other part was also easy because I was using Flow Designer, so no code was involved there. So it was I had a Azure environment and set up integration between my dev instance and Azure to talk to each other, and yeah, just had a action the flow. Whenever a catalog item is submitted, it used to create a user in Azure, and also I had a integration of those users coming back to ServiceNow. So whenever a user is created in Azure, so I think it would at max a day,
Mm-hmm. It used to take a day,
maybe 8 hours.
and you automated it, and it turned it into went from 8 hours down to 3 minutes.
Yeah, look, yeah, I think I will just take 8 hours or even actually more that I'm quoting here, but I think it took me around somewhere, I would say 4 hours to build that piece of actual demo that I had to do.
So your ROI was less than one implementation, one user provision. That's incredible. And just so I'm clear, your presentation was built on a real world use case that you had already built, correct?
Yes, so I have worked on, I think, 3 to 4 user provisioning projects,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm just a big fan of I'm a big fan of Flow Designer integration app, as I mentioned earlier, and yeah, so just love. I think a lot of companies are going towards automating all these requests because it takes a lot of time, manual effort, and there are at times a lot of errors also that they have to encounter. So if we are using integration up in Flow Designer, it just goes away. So all that manual intervention and errors are not required.
Did you start on Integration Hub, or did you have experience with the legacy workflow?
I did have bit of experience with legacy workflow, but I was pretty new. I think 2 or 3 months, and I started came to know about Flow Designer through a colleague of mine, and he told me just have a look at this one. It seems pretty. It's a new technology that came in, and I looked at it. I so it was not a requirement though. But what I did was I integrated our internal Slack to our ServiceNow instance. So I had admin access back then on that instance.
Hmm.
So I integrated our ServiceNow instance with the Slack. So what used to happen is in a particular Slack channel. So we had Slack channels for every project,
Hmm.
and so we were using PPM as well. So whenever a user story is created, updated, and under certain conditions, it used to you know post an update on the channel, so that the business analyst if he's updating stories, the developer doesn't have to go into the instance to see what he's been assigned. He can just open Slack, which usually is open already, so they can just open and look at what's going on. So I've got a new story, and the click on it opens up a new window, and it. So that was my first Flow Designer and integration of I use. So using Slack spoke, and it was back in 2018, like near to my start,
Hmm.
somewhere, yeah, the December 2018.
Okay, Ishaan, what do you like best about your job?
The best about my job is I get to work with ServiceNow every day. Is a new day, new challenge, a new thing comes up, and also helping people, interacting with clients. So you know, working on user stories, and they are all a part of my job. But interacting with people, getting the requirements, getting to know what they actually want, and putting it into into a optimized solution, a best solution that we say. So it feels really great. I can automate stuff that they want. Okay, they have got a paper form, and now they don't even have to look at the request that they were fulfilling manually. So it feels really great how you know everything can be just automated and also completed in minutes using the ServiceNow platform.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, what words of advice do you have for any new developers who might be listening to this?
Don't be afraid to ask any question. Like, someone might be really new in his career, and someone might be very experienced, but a question is a question, and it's always welcome. So there is no like no critique that I have seen or going on anywhere in the ecosystem. So which is great. Everyone will be helping you. It can be anywhere on the community, SNDAF Slack channel, or on a personal DM to anyone. So always stay up to date. Follow the right people on LinkedIn, Twitter, attend the developer meetups, and join the SNDF Slack. So also go through the questions that are posted in the community. If someone has asked a question, how to create an incident, just a very vague question I'm talking about here, but just go through that, what the other people have answered, and have given solutions. So that also helps you in learning how an incident is created. There might be 10 ways that question has been answered.
It's a wonderful community. You iterated that a number of times with meetups and reaching out to the community. And I want to thank you again for helping out being a meetup organizer. That's very, very helpful to us and to the community as well. Thank you very much for joining us today, Ishaan. Before we leave, can you let the listener know how they can get in touch with you?
So yeah, I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on SNDev Slack, I'm also on community. So you can reach out to me anywhere. I would reply. LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm very active on LinkedIn and Twitter as well, and SNDev Slack channel as well.
All right. I will have links to those in the show notes as always. Thank you, wonderful listener, for joining us today. Don't forget check out the other ServiceNow podcasts. You can find them on the community at community.servicenow.com under the resources menu. Subscribe to this or any of them and get them automatically delivered for free. Breakpoint is brought to you by ServiceNow, executive producer Chuck Tomasi, video and captions by Earl Duque. And to find out more about the ServiceNow Developer Program, I invite you to head on over to developer.servicenow.com. Once again, thank you so much, Ishaan, for joining today.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Please let us know what you think about this podcast. You can leave feedback or ask questions in the ServiceNow community. For more great information on ServiceNow development, check out the ServiceNow Developer portal at developer.servicenow.com. Thanks for listening.
Give me a hello, Chuck.
Hello, Chuck.
How did you get your start at... Let me try that again. I ran my ship aground.
Yep. Yes, that's also correct.
There's something that gets you out of bed in the morning. What is it?
Yeah, coffee.
Coffee. I don't think anybody would disagree with you on that point. Oh, man, you made me laugh so hard I'm getting a cramp.